All right, now we're going to simplify radicals with variables as well. So I've gone ahead and put the numbers in there, our coefficients, just so that we can get more practice on them. Now, I know the square root of 25 is 5. Once again, if I broke that down, I could see that. We're going to break these down and just keep taking out pairs or cubes, groups of 3, groups of 4, whatever it is we have. So I know that 25 is 5 times 5. Once again, if you need to use your factor button, use it. I know this square means I write the x twice. X times x. I also know that since this is a square root, it is the inverse of squaring. Inverse of squaring, because it's not there, I know it's a number 2. So I'm going to put a 2 here. This means I'm looking for groups of 2 to go out of the house and go on a date. So I have a group of 5s, comes out. I have a group of x's, comes out. Since everything is gone, no radical remains. Now this one will come out a little different. If I look at 75 and you want to break that factor down, menu, number, factor, 75, whoops, got a lot of stuff going on in there, hold on. Okay, menu, number, factor, 75, hit enter. I get 3 times 5 squared. That means I'm going to have 1 3 and 2 5s. All right, 1 3, 2 5s. Now if I look, I have x to the first, so I have 1x, and then 3 y's. So at this point, once again, I'm looking for pairs is what I need. So the 3 doesn't have a pair. The 5, they get to go out of the house on a date. The x doesn't have a pair, but the 2 y's together can. Now notice this y, he's stuck. So remember, anybody who doesn't get to go on a date, doesn't get to leave the house, they stay inside. And so that right there is how we can break that down. Still looking for pairs. So let's look at a cube root. 64. I'm going to break that down in my calculator. Menu, number, factor, 64, enter. 2 to the 6, so I need 6 2's. Cube root, don't forget that cube root right there. I tend to forget it myself. So I need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I need 6 x's. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I need 2 y's. I'm looking for groups of 3. I have 3 2's, 1 2 comes out. I have 3 2's going on a date, 1 2 comes out. I have 1 2 3 x's, and then I have 3 more x's, but I only have 2 y's. Therefore, none of the y's get to come out. So that means that the 2 y's have to remain in. Anything that doesn't get to go on the date stays in the house. 2 times 2 is 4. X, when we multiply like bases, we add the exponent, so it's x squared, on the cube root of y squared. Again, multiply like bases, add the exponents. And again, I read this as saying 4x squared on the cube root of y squared. Anytime a number is in front, that's what we say. So we would say 4x squared on the cube root of y squared. That's how we say it. Now again, if this was another number here rather than 3, we could say 4th root or just square root, 5th root, anything. So this is how we can break them down. Now I want to show you something because this is very tedious, especially if those numbers are large. If you recall back to our 2 units ago, we actually broke down exponents, and we dealt with exponents and converting them into our index and our exponent and going from radical expressions into exponential. So I'm going to take this exact same thing right here and I'm going to work something else with it. So it's the cube root 64 x to the 6th y squared. Now the numbers, I'm going to go ahead and keep the numbers just like I did, the 2's, which I have here. You can, or you can do this. We said that it was 2 to the 6th. So I can do 3, 2 to the 6th, x to the 6th, y squared. Okay, so watch me on this. Watch this one and then write the next one down. Remember we always said when we converted between exponential and radical, it was exponent over index. This is a nice trick. Now, if you are struggling with this trick, stick with just writing it out. It's okay. But if you get on Keystone or something, there's a huge number, this really, really helps. So it's exponent over index. So 2 to the 6th divided by 3, exponent over index. X to the 6th divided by 3, exponent over index. Y to the 2 divided by 3, exponent over index. Now, 6 divided by 3 is 2. 6 divided by 3 is 2. 2/3, however, gives me a decimal that is less than 1. Therefore, it won't work. I can't take it out. I'm going to have to leave that y squared in the radical. If it's greater than 1, we'll do that next. But if it's less than 1, remains in radical. Or we'll just say under the radical. Okay? 2 squared, again, we simplify that to a 4x squared, square root, or cube root, sorry, I forgot my cube. Cube root of y squared. Exponent over index, exponent over index. And again, you see how I forget my indexes as well, just as much as you guys would. So I'm going to look at another one. And let's take the number, let's do 64 again. This time we're going to do 4th root. And I'm going to do x to the, let's just say to the 3rd, y to the 5th. Now, same kind of concept. It was 64, and when we had our 64, we had 2 to the 6th. Now, if you want to write it all out again, you can, if you want to. Again, writing them all out, 2 6 times, 3 x's, and 5 y's. But what I'm going to do is we said that 64 was 2 to the 6th, x cubed, y to the 5th. Exponent over index. Exponent over index. Exponent over index. Exponent over index. Now this, whoops, is where your middle school math comes into play. You have to think. 4 goes into 6 how many times? And get 1 4 out. So I can get 1 4 out, but what's left over? 2. So 2 squared stays in. 1 4 can come out, 2 stays in. 6 divided by 4 is 1. So if you do 6 divided by 4, you have 1 with a remainder of 2. 1 comes out, 2 stay in. Now if you look, 3 divided by 4 is less than 1, so it's stuck. Remember, we're going to do that 4 here, my index. So that 3 is stuck in because 3 divided by 4 is less than 1. 5 divided by 4. So 5 divided by 4, I have 1 come out with a remainder of 1. So 4 goes into 5, 1 with that remainder of 1. So that remainder has to stay under. And then you end up with just 2y, 4th root of 4x cubed y. Now I'm going to double page this and show you. You can get the exact same thing if you need to write it out. Do not stress if you cannot understand this completely. It is a fast, easier way to do it, but if you need to write them out, write them out. Keystone, you get unlimited time. If they want you to write 50 of them out, write 50 of them out. Most likely they're not going to do something that high of a number because they also want you to make sure you understand conceptually that this means I'm taking out groups of 4. So I have 6 2s, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have 3 X's and 5 Y's. Now I go through and I circle groups of 4. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2 comes out. Those can't come out. I can't take out any X's. 1, 2, 3, 4, and I got that one little Y left. 1 comes out. 4th root, 2 times 2 is 4. 1, 2, 3 X's, and then your Y. Either way. Now this looks faster and easier, but if you can think and get a little ahead of it, all I do is I say 4 goes into 6 one time with 2 left over. 4 cannot go into 3. 4 divides into 5 once with 1 left over. That's how I do them in my head.